PK and Lisa, there will be tennis fans, sports fans, any kind of person, I think. You just have to be human to be excited about this matchup that will be happening later today at the Hopman Cup.
Good for viewers.
Oh, most definitely. It's going to be Serena Williams up against Roger Federer. 43 major titles between them. They're taking on each other in the mixed doubles at the Hopman Cup in Perth, because it is Switzerland up against America.
Okay.
No, we'll pity the other two people who were actually playing in the game. Like, can you even name them?
Well, I can, Lisa. For those playing at home, Belinda Bencic and Francis Tiafoe, you're in luck because you'll get the best seats in the house.
Don't pity them.
Be able to see this.
They get to play with those two.
Oh, no.
I'd be tempted just to sit, just become a ball kid watching that.
Go and sit on the chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Amazing. So a lot to look forward to today.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Georgie. Now let's get a look at the weather. Over to you, Nate.
Very good morning to you. I've been keeping my eye on the north. Still no tropical cyclone yet, but the rain is continuing to fall over Cape York Peninsula in the Gulf. A low that is intensifying. Meanwhile, further south, no relief from the heat wave at all. In the west, we're talking about elevated fire danger, extreme conditions for the goldfields in WA. Meanwhile, in the north, the cyclone warning is current from Cape York down to Pomperau for gale force winds, heavy rainfall and a storm surge as well. We're looking at some damaging winds with abnormally high tides through the Torres Strait too, as well as heavy rains for the northeast tropics, and a flood watch is current right across the north of the state, extending down to Cardwell. And we will see a couple of showers for the rest of the east coast, some storms as well in the far southwest, but a fine day in Brisbane, a top of 31 degrees. In New South Wales, there's the odd storm around the northern tablelands for the far northwest and also around the eastern parts of the central and southern ranges. Fine for the capitals though. In Sydney, it's a top of 29. Canberra, quite warm, 35. And a fine day for Victoria. A couple of showers, maybe an afternoon storm around the eastern ranges. Melbourne, sunny, 25 for you. We've got a few showers for the west and the far south of Tasmania, but a fine day in Hobart, getting to 25. The heat is continuing in the north of South Australia, maybe an unsettled afternoon for the northeast, but sunny in Adelaide, 32. And in Western Australia, we've got some storms through the interior, extending down into the Eucla. It'll be clear in Perth and quite warm, 31. Now further north, we're back to that monsoon weather from the north of WA right across the top end. We're likely to see some damaging winds for the northeast of the territory. Darwin, a shower or two, probably a storm as well, 33. Now tomorrow, the rain will continue across Cape York as that system starts to move into the Coral Sea. And plenty of heat in the middle of the country, but the southeast, just the last of some cooler temperatures before the very hot end to the week.
Thank you very much, Nate. And by the way, stay with us. We're going to be looking at films and we're going to get your review of Mary Poppins. And you can't see him, but I can right now. Zach Hepburn has outdone himself with what he's wearing.
It is worth waiting for. Stay tuned.
So, yes, stay with us. But leading the news this morning, Australia has welcomed in the new year with spectacular fireworks displays around the country. The storm that swept through Sydney in the early evening failed to deter more than 1 million people who gathered around the harbour to watch that world-famous show. In Melbourne, 14 tonnes of fireworks spread across 22 rooftops in the biggest sound and light show that city has ever seen. Not to be outdone, the other capitals around the country also delivered their own unique take on New Year's celebrations.
And looking at how the world celebrated, New Zealand was one of the first major cities to ring in the new year, with Auckland lighting up the night sky. Hong Kong didn't disappoint as hundreds of thousands of revellers watched the 10-minute fireworks spectacular at Victoria Harbour. But Beijing proved it didn't have to be all about the fireworks, with dancing pandas taking centre stage.
Remote communities in Queensland's far north are bracing for a New Year's Day cyclone that's expected to hit this afternoon. A warning remains for Cape York and Pomperau, with the Weather Bureau predicting damaging winds, heavy rain and flash flooding.
At least 4 people have died and dozens are still missing after part of an apartment building collapsed in Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited the site southeast of Moscow, where rescue workers are still searching through the rubble.
Good morning to everyone in the Northern Territory. A monsoon rain held off for Darwin's New Year celebrations last night, thankfully.
It did. Thousands of people who gathered at the city's waterfront were treated to clear skies and a 10-minute fireworks display. Reporter Tom Maddox was there.
Darwin has ushered in the new year in pretty typical Northern Territory style, with revellers looking to kick on beyond midnight, hitting the tropical city's famed nightclub and bar strip, Mitchell Street. Northern Territory Police have been out in force patrolling the CBD streets, and they've been pretty visible out on the roads too as they try to curb what's been a really horrible year on Northern Territory roads. But if partying into the wee hours of the morning wasn't your thing, kids and families got to roll out the picnic rug earlier on in Darwin's waterfront to see the fireworks display and some live music.
I liked all their pretty colours.
There was a bit of a bang right at the end there, wasn't it? It really built up. Were you excited?
A little bit scared because it was a really big bang, but otherwise I was excited.
What did you think of the fireworks? Were you excited?
Yeah?
Why were you excited? Tell me about it.
Well, I just love fireworks. It's like seeing the stars shining, except it makes giant sounds and...
Was it a bit scary, do you think?
No, not really.
After a super hot and dry build-up with lower than expected rain, Northern Territorians were expecting to kick off the new year with a monsoon. But unfortunately, top-enders will have to wait a little bit longer, with the Weather Bureau predicting that those big rains aren't set to kick in until next week at the earliest.
Tom Maddox there, and we hope everyone's waking up okay and feeling good about themselves this morning after a big night in Darwin.
There.
Yeah, or maybe a few sleeping in. Now.